What's going on, everybody? I am back to break down the 6-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Excited to get into the breakdown. Before we do, quick reminder that if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a second to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. And you can go ahead and check out my KJK DFS premium content. If you are going to be very serious about NBA DFS, I am offering discounts for the holiday season. For the KJK DFS Discord package, where you can get access to the Discord and ask me questions all the way up to lock, before lock. After lock, you get it throughout the entire day. Only $1 all the month of December. You can check out the KJK DFS NBA package if you are getting very serious about NBA DFS. You get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. Would highly recommend that if you are getting serious. I think you're going to get your return on investment very quickly. And before we get into the video, this video is brought to you by Parlay Play. If you guys aren't familiar, last night we killed it with another good pick. Our record's only 3-4, but we hit a 10x pick last night. We got all 4 right for 10x on the KJK DFS Bankroll Challenge. So we just turned $5 into $50 real quick. And it's kind of cool because you can show, it just shows you don't have to be perfect. You can still be a profitable player over here on Parlay Play. So really happy that we were able to hit that last night. Looking to keep it going again tonight. I'll be having my pick tonight on the live stream for tonight's pick, but we are up to $65. We turned $10 into $65, only wagering $5 per entry. So just to show you, obviously, if you do deposit, they will match your first deposit up to $50. Instant match deposit today. If you use the link below in the description, I'm going to put it in the comments as well. Use code KJK003. You also get 2 risk-free $5 wagers, which is what we started this bankroll challenge with. Haven't even deposited. If you'd like to deposit, obviously you can put more money in, and obviously, you know, like let's say we started with 100 and we were ramping up our volume, that might be $650 instead of 65. But you get the point. I will be having another pick for this Parlay Play challenge tonight on the live stream. So if you're interested, check out Parlay Play. Would highly recommend it. I'll be having my picks on Twitter as well. You can follow me over there on Twitter at KJK_DFS, etc. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night, guys. But yeah, check out Parlay Play. Love the format. Let's get into this breakdown. Let's get into the good stuff. And like I said, don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night. So, first game on the slate tonight is going to be Washington taking on Utah. As far as the total in this game right now, this game comes in with a 220, I'm sorry, wrong one there. This game comes in with a 220 over-under with a 6-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. So expected to stay decently close here. 220 over-under is pretty respectable, especially on a season where we've seen the totals down quite a bit. So certainly have no issues with you targeting the main candidates. Obviously on the Utah side of things, it all starts with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. They're both priced up quite a bit here. Both productions haven't been too crazy here as of late. But when you're looking at some of the game logs, there have been involved in quite a few blowouts. The last 2 games specifically, they have been 2 blowouts. So if the game's actually able to stay close, obviously, they would have much more room to kind of surpass their price tags. And with the spread being only at 6, I do think that there's a strong possibility that it does. So certainly no issues with you going to Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell at the top. If you're not playing one of those top pay-up guys, the obvious fade and pivot would be to play Mike Conley, Bogdanovich, Jordan Clarkson, one of these more mid-range guys, if you would like to. I tend to think I'm going to have a lot less interest in these guys. They just haven't been quite getting the minutes. But like I said, I think that these game logs are kind of a little bit skewed in the data because of all the blowouts that they've been involved in recently. So I wouldn't take that too seriously. I still have interest in these guys across the board. But like I said, obviously, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, it all starts with them. If they aren't going to get there, the natural pivot would be to those guys. But they're probably my favorite guys to be starting with on this team for sure. Rudy Gay, Mike Conley, great at the best as far as an upside at their price tag aspect on DraftKings. Rudy Gay priced at 4K. So if you want to go with him, wouldn't call you crazy at all. Looking at his minutes, he's been getting, though, right around 20 minutes. So it is a little bit of a bold call if you want to go there because, I mean, we obviously want the more minutes, the better for the upside. He could get you there in a hurry if he does get hot, but it's a little bit risky. On the Washington side of things, they're both fully healthy too. So you have Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Spencer Dinwiddie, all kind of cutting into each other's usage. So it's a similar aspect to what we just talked about. If you're paying up for Bradley Beal, probably not going to have nearly as much interest in a Kyle Kuzma or Spencer Dinwiddie. But if you're not playing Bradley Beal, the natural pivot would be to pivot to these 2 guys, 2nd and 3rd in usage, and they're cheaper. So they can get there a lot easier. I mean, Utah is not exactly the easiest matchup in the world defensively. They rank right now 6th in the league in points per possession rank, so they're very good as far as Washington and how they've been defensively. They're 13th in the league overall in points per possession rank, so, um, you know, both teams pretty respectable defensively, but it's pretty obvious as to who will be targeting this one and the pivots and the approach on a per lineup basis. Sacramento taking on Cleveland is going to be the second game on the slate. Rashawn Holmes should continue to be out in this one. So with him being out, it's going to be Tristan Thompson, Alex Len getting some run. We saw Marvin Bagley step in and get quite a bit of run last night as well, and he had a pretty good game, 27 minutes. So if that's going to be the case, Marvin Bagley is going to be a tremendous play at that price tag, only 3.7 over here on DraftKings as far as FanDuel is concerned for Marvin Bagley. I think they've still got him priced, down to 4.4. So, he's going to be an obvious no-brainer play if he's playing around 30 minutes a game. We just haven't really seen that out of him throughout the season. And all of a sudden, he pops off for 27 minutes. So I'm not sure how much of a guarantee or a consistent thing that's going to be, but something I wanted to bring up. As far as the total in this game overall right now, this game right now comes in with a 222 over-under with a 6.5 point spread in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So expected to, once again, be a game that stays pretty close here. On the Sacramento side of things, we could certainly take advantage of that Rashawn Holmes injury with some of these guys filling in. I do think that's going to naturally lead to some more Terrence Davis minutes as well. We saw him play 22 minutes last time out. He did get a technical foul at some point in the game and then didn't really play a lot going forward. I'm just wondering how much that had to do with his minutes because the coaching staff maybe wasn't too happy with him. But Terrence Davis, Marvin Bagley seem to be the two guys that we could certainly be capitalizing on as long as Mr. Rashawn Holmes is out. Buddy Hield at 5'3", saw 31 minutes as well. That was a very fast up-tempo game. And the obvious candidates are going to be De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton. They're both continuing to get a lot of usage, a lot of minutes. Specifically Halliburton. This guy's been playing a ton of minutes. 36-plus minutes pretty much every single game. Just lock it in. He's only 5'8". That's way too cheap on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, let's see what they've got him priced at. I think FanDuel has him a little bit more appropriately priced. Yeah, he's up to 7.3 on FanDuel. So on DraftKings, Halliburton's just an absolute no-brainer. That's just an extreme pricing error, so I certainly have interest in Mr. Halliburton tonight on DraftKings specifically. I have interest on both websites, but I mean, DraftKings is just making it that easy on you, so you can lock it in and feel pretty good about it. And the same rule can be said for Harrison Barnes. He was a big letdown last night at 5'5". He only played 26 minutes, but he's just priced in the mid-5K range, a guy that typically plays in the mid-30s minutes. We saw, like I said, Marvin Bagley kind of have a lot of minutes last night. I'm just wondering, maybe that was because it was on a back-to-back or something. Keep your eyes on that rotation, but... And then the run-back options on the Cleveland side of things, we saw Kevin Love last night get 23 minutes. He put up 46 DraftKings points. I do think that he's always going to be a viable candidate off the bench to get hot and put up a big score in a hurry. But similar to like Rudy Gay that we talked about, he's only playing 20 minutes a game, so it's kind of an all-or-nothing play. And the other guys on Cleveland, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, these guys are kind of the solidified candidates to get a lot of run, a lot of usage, kind of the obvious guys that you're looking to in your lineups. Can be a little bit negatively correlated, such as an Evan Mobley and a Jared Allen. Like we saw Jared Allen have a big game last night. Every time that he's grabbing a rebound, obviously Mobley isn't. So probably playing one of those guys in each individual lineup. Or marking at 5'5", continues to be priced pretty reasonably, but he's only playing like in the mid-20s. So really I would be locking in on the main candidates up top. You can play Kevin Love if you want, but it's going to be kind of obvious, those three guys. Next game is Houston taking on Memphis. As far as a total in this one, this game right now comes in with a total of a 220.5 over-under with an 8-point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. So it's a little bit scary as far as if this game's going to stay close. Kevin Porter Jr. is listed as questionable, so certainly keep your eyes on that one. If he's back, that's going to shake some things up. We've been seeing Armani Brooks and Garrison Matthews really taking on a lot of run on this squad. So Garrison Matthews at 4.4. He had a pretty big game last night, 38 DraftKings points. He continues to be underpriced. Memphis has been terrible all season long defensively. Looking at my defensive half court and putbacks premium content over here, Memphis right now ranks as 21st in the league defensively. So really, really not good on the defensive side of things. As far as Houston is concerned, it's not as if they're an elite defense, but they are kind of middle of the pack, 18th points per possession rank, so I'm not too scared about them either. This game should play pretty good offensively. So Armani Brooks going to continue to have interest in him for sure. Garrison Matthews going to continue to have interest in him if there is no Kevin Porter Jr. They're going to be the obvious candidates. You could be taking a look to a Josh Christopher as well, but his minutes were a little bit capped last night. I really want to lock in on Brooks and Matthews for my priorities, and then, of course, Eric Gordon as well you could be playing, and lastly, Christian Wood, the pay-up option probably going to get a bunch of run. And then with John Morant being out on the Memphis side of things, once again, some more usage to go around. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones. The one guy I forgot on the Houston side of things is obviously Jae'Sean Tate, if you're paying up for him. But just keep in mind, guys, these guys are going to be negatively correlated with one another. So, like, Jae'Sean Tate only had 24 points last time, but then you go down to Garrison Matthews and Armani Brooks, and they absolutely killed it. So, naturally, they were the ones doing the scoring. They were the ones taking on, most of the usage. So, you can't be playing all these guys in the same lineup, but approach it that way. If you're playing a pay-up option, probably a little bit less interested in the pay-down option, and et cetera. I mean, you could obviously have a pay-up option and a pay-down option, but just don't go too crazy with it. Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. are going to be obvious candidates to continue to get usage. These two guys are going to play a lot of minutes. Same thing can be said for Tyus Jones. So those three guys are really the ones I'm locking in on the Memphis side of things. And as you go down, I get far less interested in like a Kyle Anderson, a Conchar. These guys their minutes are really inconsistent. They're role players. They're really spreading the minutes pretty thin. So, I don't really think it's too necessary to be getting cute here with these guys. Xavier Tillman. KJ Martin at 3-1 on Houston continues to be really cheap if you want to take a risk there, but probably not worth it. So, yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of describing our interest in that game. Christian Wood obviously is the top pay-up option if there's no Kevin Porter Jr. 9.5. He could absolutely beast on this Memphis front court, so I'm going to like him quite a bit. Chicago taking on Miami's the next game on the slate. Jimmy Butler listed as out. DeMar DeRozan listed as out. Bam Adebayo listed as out. There's going to be plenty of usage bumps to go around here as far as the total in this game. This game comes in with a 211 over-under with a 1-point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. So expect to stay close. Not exactly the fastest paced game in the world, but with there being no DeRozan, no Jimmy Butler, no Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero really going to stand out as great plays on the Miami side of things. They should be taking on all the usage for this squad and really being relied on heavily to carry the load as far as scoring is concerned. Dwayne Dedmon should continue to get the start at center. We've seen his minutes cut down quite a bit recently, though, so it's a little bit scary to be going there. One guy that's really standing out to me from a projection aspect is Caleb Martin. He's been playing a ton of minutes, 29, 31, and 34 the last 3 games out. He right now is grading out as, I believe, yes, the very top play for me on the slate as far as the points per price tag aspect at 3.5. Going to project it for 33 minutes, 0.82 DK points per minute. I mean, it's just an absolute smash play at this current price tag, so he's certainly someone that's going to be a priority for me from a value aspect on the slate tonight. And then you can be taking a look to a Duncan Robinson as well, a Max Struss. Not nearly as interested in those guys, though, to be honest with you, as I am Martin. So, and then, like I said, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, the obvious candidates. And on the Chicago side of things, with there being no DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, those 3 guys should all get a pretty big bump up in usage here. And I think specifically the guy that's going to benefit the most is going to be Lonzo Ball. Just that one less guy to take away usage from Lonzo. Really think that could pay off for him. So certainly going to have quite a bit of interest in him, quite a bit of interest in Zach LaVine, quite a bit of interest in Nikola Vucevic, although he's not directly correlated with DeRozan because he's not a guard. Naturally, some usage is going to flow down to him. So certainly will like him a little bit more. And then as far as anyone else on the Chicago side of things, Derek Jones, Troy Brown, Elijah Johnson are all going to kind of be splitting those minutes as well. So as far as Derek Jones, him being ruled out, that's going to be some pretty relevant news because now Troy Brown, Elijah Johnson, and now Stanley Johnson being signed going to become much more interesting plays. And I think Troy Brown specifically at 3-1 could be the one that we really wanted to take a look at here. 24 and 27 minutes the last 2 times out. He still continues to be priced way down. He's only 3-1. I think he'd get you there in a hurry at this price tag. So he's certainly someone that I'd be willing to look to, looking at his production on a permanent basis. 0.76 DK points per minute. Not the best, not the worst, though. So I think that he's a pretty intriguing value play. And, yeah, someone that we could certainly be looking to on this slate tonight. So that's my breakdown for this one. Moving further along, Golden State Warriors taking on Philadelphia. Ben Simmons continues to be out. Klay Thompson continues to be out. James Wiseman. No really surprising news in this one. Steph Curry priced up to 11.6 as far as a total in this game. This game right now comes in with a 213 over-under with a 3-point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. So not exactly the fastest-paced game, but it's a game that's expected to stay close, which could go a long way for the superstars. We've seen Stephen Curry and these Warriors involved in a couple games that have gotten out of hand here recently. So if you want to go to him, I'm just a little concerned about paying up for options in this game where this game's going to be so slowly paced. Like, do we really want to do that? I'm not too sure. Defensive half-court and putbacks tool here. I can see that Golden State's ranked #1 in the league in points per possession rank. Defensively, they're very, very good. As far as Philadelphia is concerned, they're 15th in the league overall, so not the best, but certainly not the worst. And I think this game's going to be really slow paced, so I might have a little bit of difficult time paying up for Joel Embiid to Stephen Curry. They're just priced way up, and like with the pace of the game, are they really going to get there? I think I'd much rather go down to some mid-range guys. Maybe a Tobias Harris, a Draymond Green, a Tyrese Maxey. Some of these guys down here in the lower range because they have a much better chance of getting there. Jordan Poole and Seth Curry, both sharpshooters that could certainly pay off their price tags in the mid 5K range. So they're guys that I'd be looking to. But I'm not getting too excited. Yeah, like Jordan Poole grades out as a pretty good play for me. And he'd be the top guy that I'm looking to target from this game overall. I also do have some interest in Otto Porter at 4-2 because he's starting to see his minutes finally climb up here on this team. Getting more involved, and he's priced very reasonably. He's running right in the mid-20s to upper towards the 30-minute mark per game, and at only 4-2, that could pay off. So, but overall, this game not looking too good from a friendly fantasy aspect. Probably one that I'm not prioritizing as much as some of the other ones we talked about. And lastly, Denver taking on the San Antonio Spurs, going to be the last game on the slate. Will Barton listed as questionable. Keldon Johnson listed as questionable. Will Barton is more so probable, though, so I'd expect him to be able to go. And as far as Keldon Johnson, he's also more so probable. So I wouldn't be too worried about these guys sitting out in this one. They should be good to go. As far as an over-under in this game comes in with a 219 over-under with a 1-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. So expected to stay close once again, which is always going to help our lineups. Nikola Jokic going to be a great pay-up option in a game that does stay close, 11-9. But, I mean, this guy's fantasy point production has been absolutely ridiculous as far as how much he's producing on a permanent basis. 1.78 DK points per minute. Any game that stays close, he's got 70-plus fantasy point upside. We've seen him put up 62, 72, and 63 the last 3 times out. That is just phenomenal. So certainly going to have interest in him in a game that's going to be expected to stay close. And the same rule can be said for DeJounte Murray. Much rather be paying up for these guys than like a Stephen Curry and Joel Embiid in a faster paced game here. I know it's not a crazy difference, a 219 compared to a 213, but it's just, you know, also looking at my defensive half-court putbacks tool as far as how these teams grade out defensively, San Antonio and Denver. Denver right now grades out as the 20th best team in the league from a points per possession aspect, and San Antonio 12th. So it's just a little bit of a better all-around environment for these guys to actually be able to do some fantasy production, some scoring. So I like them. Some secondary options, Jakob Poeltl, Derek White continue to be priced very reasonably for guys that are seeing 30-plus minutes per game in the mid 6K range. So those two guys certainly make quite a bit of sense to me. Going to continue to target them. Will Barton at 7K is priced pretty appropriately, so I'm not too sure I'm getting too excited to be playing him. Aaron Gordon at 6'4", kind of the same thing, but I think he has a little bit more room for upside at that price tag. So continuing to get the start here on the San Antonio side of things, he's played mid-20s to upper 20s in minutes per game. If you want to take a shot on him, Vassal's returning, Lonnie Walker, so these guys are going to kind of start to cut into each other's usage a little bit too much for my liking is the only problem. When Vassal was out, we were dealing with some more stuff, some more Bryn Forbes minutes, etc. Kind of think these minutes are going to be spread thin. A little bit scary to be going down to that range for me. I would probably stick to the DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, Derek White exposure on the Denver side of things. Monte Morris, Jeff Green, both priced pretty reasonably for guys that are getting quite a bit of minutes in the rotation. So if you want to go there, decent plays. But I think there's some better options that we talked about, like on the Chicago side of things with some guys being out, on the Houston side of things with some guys being out. So, yeah, guys, quick little look over here to FanDuel as always. We talked about a lot of guys that we like, but just to make sure there's no major pricing discrepancies, I always like to go over here, double check for you guys. I try to talk about it as I go along, but Jaren Jackson Jr. is the first guy that stands out to me in a tremendous way over here on FanDuel. 6'4", that's just way too cheap, so that's the first guy that I'll be pointing out to you to be getting in your lineups at 6'4". That is a ridiculously wrong price tag for Jaren Jackson, so I certainly like him quite a bit. Kyle Lowry at 6'7", we talked about there being no Jimmy Butler. That's going to be way too cheap over here on FanDuel at 6'7". I will certainly have a lot of interest in Mr. Lowry on FanDuel. If you're playing over here, going to like him a lot. Donovan Mitchell is only 8'3" over here. He grades out as a pretty good play for me. De'Aaron Fox continues to be underpriced at 7'9". Tobias Harris at 7'5". Tyus Jones at 5'8". We talked about the Memphis side of things, and well, I just listed 2 Memphis guys on FanDuel that are just way too cheap in my opinion. Tyus Jones, Jaren Jackson, going to be certainly having interest in them. Harrison Barnes continues to be priced at 6K over here on Sacramento. We talked about his minutes being a little bit scary. I like Jakob Poeltl over here at 6'7" as well. And Nikola Jokic at 11'2" is, you know, obviously a priority for me. If you can get up to him, because you only get one center play, huge upside. Make an argument. We talked about Nikola Vucevic getting a bump up with there being no DeRozan, so I'm thinking he's going to be a much better play. But overall, yeah, guys, feeling pretty good about it. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to give you guys my parlay play pick on the live stream tonight. So go ahead and sign over there. Use promo code KJK003. Use the link below in the description to get your risk-free $2 $5 bets. So you also get your first deposit match up to $50. And with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and give you my lock of the night. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Donovan Mitchell taking on this Washington squad in a 220 over-under with a 6-point spread. I'd expect this game to finally stay close for this Utah squad. They've been involved in quite a few blowouts, and if the game does stay close, we know Donovan Mitchell has a ton of upside, producing at a very high rate on the season. 1.27 DK points per minute as far as FanDuel, 1.22 FanDuel point per minute production. Love the price tag on both websites, especially considering, like I said, this game's expected to stay close. I'd expect him to be able to surpass this price tag on both websites pretty easily here tonight in a fast up-tempo game, one that's expected to stay close. The production's there. He just needs to be on the floor for the minutes, and I think he will be. Get him in your lineups because he is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Donovan Mitchell, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a second to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you hopefully tonight on the live stream. But if not, we'll catch you in the next one.